iFi audio review time. Been testing out a lot of these products over the last month, so here it all is for your enjoyment. It all started with this little beastie, the 4000 iCAN SE Class A TubeState headphone amplifier. Let's check the box. Anything of interest? There you go. Specs on the side. Okay. Now, if you're familiar with their lineup as such, you'll know that they have micro and they also have nano. These are both from the micro line. The nano line has an iDAC. It also has an iCAN, and the micro has an iCAN. But this is the iCAN SE special edition, which gives it the 4000. It also gives it 3 bass settings rather than 2. And to be fair, this is where the magic happens. I'm running the Hi-Fi Man 400's eyes, and they've got enough bass there, but if you're really kicking it on some dance music, they do lag slightly. And if you whack that up to the 2nd bass setting, it's absolutely out of this world. They actually hum like crazy. They turn them into proper bass head earphones when you flick that to the 2. If that's that too much for you, you have it off or option 1 depending on your preference. But this has made the biggest difference to everything I've ever brought to try and improve audio, whether that be DACs, amplifiers, preamps. If you just want it to sound better, and if you've got slightly harder to drive headphones and your PC maybe isn't giving you the volume that you want, or you don't think it's giving you the performance you want, this is an absolute superstar of a product. I very, very highly recommend the iCAN SE. I've also tried the iCAN, and for me it wasn't powerful enough. So if you're using very easy to drive headphones, you can maybe go for the micro iCAN. But if you need something with a bit more power to it, this will power every single thing that you can possibly throw at it. There wouldn't be anything that these would shy to be honest. So there you go, the iCAN SE beauty. Moving on. This was given to me by iFi Audio for 1 month test. See how I got along with it. It's a tube buffer, a tube preamplifier. Let's have a look at the box. There we go. Both these have this 3D sound, which gives you much more of an open effect, I would say. Let's have a look here. This demonstrates the 3D holographic sound. It says the iFi iTUBE is the Swiss Army knife of audio, direct tube buffer, tube preamplifier with analog volume control. So I was using it in line with the iCAN SE. You can see here how I had the pin set up on 1 and 8 there. So that was basically giving me a buffer, a 0 dB buffer. So what this did, it didn't have as like a on-off switch effect like the amp does. You can instantly tell the difference when you plug this into your setup. It lights your earphones up, and if you switch the bass setting on some 400i's, for example, you know all about it. This is a little bit more discreet to a level, especially when you're using it in conjunction with this, because this is such a beast that it possibly slightly clouds over this. Maybe you'd really want to try this and just see what kind of results that you're getting from it. This does have a quite overbearing on this. You got your inputs and your outputs. A little LED glows in there. 3D sound there. You can adjust the volume if needed. Now, you can also use this with home cinema systems. You can run it through anything that's got your inputs and your outputs, so you can change the sound of anything that you can run it through. So after I tried it with this, I wasn't really getting the most out of this, I don't think, because this is just so powerful. So I decided to try this on some other things around the home, for instance, home cinema system. And that's where it started to make sense. It gives you, it's hard to put into words, it's a tube. So it gives you that dark, sort of warm winter's night with the fireplace crackling feeling, you know? And that's what this does, which isn't the same as this. This is really modern sounding feel, solid state. So they are different products depending on what you're wanting at the time. This worked very good. Watched some movies with it, and yeah, it did give it a warmer feel to the audio. Probably the best way of describing it. Now, I'm going to be returning this now because it's at its end of its review time with me, and some lucky next person can have a go with it. With all things, I need to make my mind up whether to buy it. To mix it with this, I would say no, because this is just such a beast that what difference is this was making through this? If you've got that bass flicked up and you're rocking out, and then you take this out of the loop, sometimes, unless, depending on what you're listening to, but if it's like a heavy track, this is just going to overpower this to the point where if you take this out of the loop, you're not going to necessarily know without intense listening. However, for other applications such as speakers, home cinema systems, this is where this one makes more sense. So for headphones together, I probably wouldn't buy it for that. For headphones with this and a different amplifier, possibly, but maybe this one is just too good for its own good when it's using it in conjunction with this. This on its own is enough just to absolutely go for it in any application on any headphone. So you lay that money down on this, and the smile and the grin factor is going to be the same whether you had these in conjunction. But this is a headphone amplifier, which isn't going to be using for your home cinema system, and that's where this comes in. So depending on how far into the audio chain you are, whether it's purely headphones, there you go. On the other hand, if you're into all your audio, this is the go-to for other applications. At this time, I'd like to thank iFi Audio for providing me with this review sample. I've had a great time testing it on everything around the house that I can get to test it with, and of course running it side by side with this with my 400i's. And it's going to be a bit of a shame to see it go, really. Even the little glowing LED here through the cold winter has been a welcome sign. and the heat that it generates, it's been keeping my room quite warm, so it's definitely going to be sad to see it go. But as usual guys, it's been emotional.